Hi, everyone. I'm Dr. Nicole Berkins with Microbiome Labs, and today I'm talking with Dr. Tina Moore about strategies for successfully marketing a practice during these really unusual times that we're living through right now. We know that this is a big topic for many of you due to coronavirus and what's going on with the economy as a result. So we're committed to bringing you as much information as we can to support you and your practice and really to help you be able to pivot quickly during these changing times. So let me tell you a little bit about her. Dr. Tina Moore is a naturopathic and chiropractic physician and #1 best-selling author. Her current passions include training naturopathic doctors in regenerative medicine, her specialty in clinical practice for over a decade, as well as broadening their reach through digital and online marketing so that they can have a stronger impact, make more money, and enjoy more balance in their lives. Who among us doesn't want that? Tina, welcome. Thank you for being here.
Thank you. That was such a stellar introduction.
Well, thanks.
Thanks for
So,
having me.
these are really interesting times that we're living in now, personally as well as professionally. And, one of the things that I think is exciting about what you're doing is helping practitioners to see the opportunities during this time when a lot of people are going, I don't know what to do. My practice is shut down or people aren't coming in the door. So you're helping people see opportunities, but also have some really specific strategies to navigate this. So what are you seeing? Like, let's just start the conversation by what are you seeing happening? You're coaching lots of people. What are you hearing are some of the big concerns or challenges right now?
Yeah, so when this happened, I took action immediately and called an emergency meeting of all my coaching clients. And I'm coaching well over 100 practitioners at this point. Most of them are naturopathic physicians, but a sprinkling of other professions in there. And what I noticed was a lot of fear, obviously, and concern. And the strategies and tools we'd been working on were exactly what we needed to be doing immediately. Some had been doing them for some months, and some had not been really taking me seriously or putting it into action because it just didn't seem necessary. Their practices were busy enough. Why on earth would they need these? And these are tools and strategies I think that every business everywhere should embrace. This isn't just about medicine. This is about just being in business in 2020. Like it's just part of the deal, in my opinion, is to have some online and digital presence.
Mhm.
And so I saw several of them pivot quickly, and I saw the ones who really were resistant from the beginning remain resistant.
Mm.
And what I'm seeing now as some time has passed is a lot of anxiety is creeping up as income is slowly or quickly dwindling. I'm seeing some practitioners closing their doors probably forever.
Mm.
I'm really particularly concerned for my profession because we're such a small but mighty group.
Yeah.
And I'm seeing some just sort of sit around like deer in headlights and assuming, well, this will pass. There'll be a new normal. It'll be okay. And they're going to open up the doors any day now, which is true. We're in Oregon. We just got the plan yesterday for the phase 1 of opening. And some of them got the PPP financial support. Some of them are getting their, tax kickbacks, but that's not going to last forever. And as you and I were talking offline, if anyone has studied virology or immunology, usually these pandemics have a second wave. And not to scare anyone, but I'm really concerned that if they do bring us back into quarantine, that might be the nail in the coffin for a lot of practices. And I do not want to see that happen.
So this is really the time to be understanding how to market better, how to position ourselves to be able to not only keep our practices open and keep our current people coming in the door, but also even growing during this time, whether that's brick and mortar or
Yeah.
online, right? Because you really work with practitioners who are doing both, right?
Right. So digital and online strategies, there's a big difference that I explain to my coaching clients. You don't have to be an influencer to have really strong impact and presence online. You can have a small but very mighty tribe and a loyal following and still have that impact your practice in a significantly financial way versus everyone thinks like, oh, well, I'm just going to have a huge social media following and that's going to take years. And how would I do that? That is not at all what I'm talking about. That's a piece of the puzzle. More importantly is really doubling down on building an email list, gathering your current patients right now, getting them on an email blasting service like MailChimp or Constant Contact, or to name a few, there's several out there. And really patient retention. Like we have to keep our patients retained. We have to keep them happy. We have to keep them calm. And we have to be the voice of reason that they come to expect several times a week in that email inbox, that's how we're going to keep our practices afloat. And that's nothing fancy. Like that's nothing, anyone can do that. Any one of us can do that. And then it comes down to just decent copywriting to get those emails opened and engaging content to keep them getting read and getting them shared out. And if you do a good job of it, you can literally grow your practice during this time. And that's what's happening for my coaching clients. Like some of them are like reporting increased income because they're doing it.
Well, and I love that you mentioned that, because I think a lot of practitioners are really just, as you said, sort of deer in the headlights and focused on how do I try to preserve some semblance of what's been normal, or at least like keep the people I have. But the reality is there are some real opportunities here even for growth. And that's why I love, you talking to our practitioner community right now about this, because it's going to uniquely position them to be able to take advantage of the opportunities for growth, where a lot of the other practitioners in their local communities may be just sort of hunkering down and saying, how do I sort of survive this? What you're saying is we can thrive through this. And even looking at too, you talked about the second wave maybe that will come in terms of, shutting things down because of illness increase again. I'm also thinking about the, short to mid to longer term economic effects, that even if the virus doesn't come back and affect us in a second wave that way, that as practitioners, we're going to be navigating the kind of challenging waters of an economy that is at least in a recession, possibly worse here for a bit. And how do we do that and still do well in an economy like that?
Right. That's a good question. So I opened my practice in 2008 in a 100% basically insurance state of Oregon. Almost all naturopathic physicians take insurance here. And I'm a chiropractor too. Every chiropractor takes insurance. And I opened a cash-based practice during a recession, couldn't get a small business loan. Small Business Association wasn't even answering their phones. There was no financial support. I had been just divorced. I was in bankruptcy. And I was like, shoot, if I can survive this, I can survive anything. And I thrived. I mean, it took a lot of work and it almost killed me, but I thrived.
Yeah.
Later on, after building that successful cash-based practice, all regenerative medicine, I realized that there was this whole digital and online world. And as soon as the software became user-friendly enough for me to be able to navigate myself without like a whole team of coders and, IT people, I took to it. And within a year, my practice, just from implementing the strategies I'm talking about here, my practice went from very seasonally based still, because it was all cash. So it was impacted by seasonality, which other practitioners who are insurance based don't normally have, to literally like booked out 3 months, wait list for 3 months, application only, turning away 70 to 80% of patients who applied, and raising my rate significantly within 1 year of just really doubling down on email marketing. Like it wasn't rocket science. It just took a commitment and a time commitment to setting aside time during the week as part of my job. Like that's it. It just became part of my job instead of a nuance or a extra chore. Right. And I think that, we're headed towards some level of economic collapse, even if we open doors today and everything. I've been listening to economists, and that's really what got my heart racing recently. I'd been pretty calm throughout this and really leading from the front. And recently I'm like, oh no, this is really going to be devastating. And I'm seeing it impact my family and my friends. I live in Portland, which is a, big food town, lots of restaurants, and people are just, I just read a study yesterday, or an article yesterday that said for every death from COVID-19 in Oregon, we've had over 3,000 jobs lost.
Yeah.
It's hugely impactful across the country as well. So yeah, we're looking at an uphill climb. And so momentum matters now.
Yeah.
This isn't, emails don't get opened when you just start sending them. Everyone thinks, okay, well, I sent 3 emails and well, it's great. No, those actually probably went into the spam folder.
Right.
And if you're sending an email once a month to your patients, it's probably not getting read and your open rates are probably low. So you essentially have a cold list. So the key is to really inundate them with a ton of good value and quality and quantity. And eventually they will start to get open. And by the time that happens, that could take weeks to months in some cases, depending on the size of the list. So anyway, all that said is we got to act now.
Yeah.
right now.
I think we've got people's attention that, okay, this is important. I need to be acting now. I need to kind of snap myself out of the deer in the headlights or the denial or whatever. You gave a really compelling story about how you were able to build and build a thriving practice even during challenging times back, 12 years ago. So let's get down to some of the nitty gritty. I know there are some specific things that you want to share with this audience about what they need to be thinking about and doing right now to start building this momentum.
Okay, so I'm going to say it as simply as I can. First things first, get yourself involved in some kind of email blasting service. So whether, like I said, Constant Contact, MailChimp, Kajabi, there's a bunch of them out there. I don't have a preference. Just I like free. If it's free and it works for you, go for it, right? No need to pay for something expensive right now. Get all your patients on that service and tag them as patients. It's important that we segment our list. That's a conversation for later. Just trust me, you'll be glad. You'll know who's your patient, who's not. And then you want to start sending high quality emails 3 times a week, literally 3 times a week. That's not too much. You need to look into Google copywriting, Google catchy, subject lines, find out how to get people to read the subject line and be like, oh, this is compelling enough to open, so that you start to get those emails opened. They don't have to be long. Don't overcomplicate it. Keep them really short and simple and a high value. It could be your breakfast smoothie. It could be some little thing like dry skin brushing. This morning I was doing some box breathing because I was having some anxiety about something, and I was like, oh, this would be great for an email. Simple stuff. People love behind the scenes. They love real life. They love, you don't have to just be all technical all the time. You can talk about you and share your story.
Love that. And it could even be, for people who are thinking, oh, I don't know how to share it. It could even be like sharing an article, that you thought was helpful, or something about a product that you used. Like it can literally be anything, right? That the patient would find useful.
Yeah, it could be, you could pick up your phone and make a quick little like selfie video that's 30 seconds long and put that in there. There's all kinds of ways that you can connect, but the key is patient engagement and keeping them happy and calm and engaged and opening. When that happens, there's 2 things you really want to double down on. And I know I'm going rapid fire, but I'm just trying to give the really quick, important parts. Always make sure you let them know consistently that you're open for telemedicine. You can't let them know enough. Let them know. You could make a video on, I like to use FullScript. That's my medicinary. You could do a video on how to get into your FullScript how to log in so that they don't skip a beat with their supplements. That will give you residual income as well. You could make a short video on how to get into the telemedicine platform, reassuring them how easy it is and how simple, letting them know you're available for phone call phone call medicine if you need to do it that way, but just letting them know consistently that you're open for business. And then number 2, asking for more business. Always ask them if you found this information useful, please send it to 3 of your friends. If you found this article about diabetes and COVID interesting, please send it to someone in your life that you love who's suffering from diabetes. Always ask for more business and ask them to just forward that. That's how you grow. Now those people will get on your list. Your list is growing, your business is growing. That's when people come in and say, hey, Aunt Sandy sent this to me. It was so interesting. Are you open for new patients? Yes, I am. That's wonderful. That's how we kind of spread the love and grow by teaching our knowledge base. And I think that is a super potent way to keep your doors open and keep your business afloat.
Those are really practical things. And obviously it maybe should go without saying in 2020, but since we have practitioners sort of across the spectrum of tech use and all of that, a website is really important. Like an updated functioning website is important, right?
It is. And I think, I will say though, the one thing that gets my coaching members caught up in stalling is them worrying about their website. But really you could put something together with Wix or Squarespace. I mean, there's so many ways just to build one thing. Like have a very simple website, keep it simple. Don't list a laundry list of conditions you treat. Just keep it high value and keep it simple so they know how to access you. It's going to take Google bots a lot of time to optimize and find that site anyway, so don't worry about that, but just have something where they can land. And I think the third thing I would say is make sure that you have some presence on social media platforms. You do not need 100,000 followers. You do not even need 3,000 followers. People just need to be able to go to their favorite platform. Everyone's online right now. People need to be able to go to their favorite platform and know that you exist. If you're trying to spend money running Google ads to something into your business, it is a complete waste of money if you're not around on the social media platforms, if I see some compelling ad for some doctor offering some awesome thing, what's the first thing I'm going to do? I'm going to Google them.
Right.
If they don't show up on Google till like page 4, I can't find their website. There's
Yeah.
just a listing under health grades or something.
God.
And
Right.
there's nothing else. I'm like, I want to see
Yeah.
a few YouTube videos that are short and compelling. I want to see that she's on Facebook and there's something there. It doesn't have to be huge. Don't waste too much time on any of these. Don't get hung up in the weeds with social media, but it's a tool to get them to further engage. It's a free tool to get them to say like, oh, this person's legit. She's here. She has something interesting to say. I like her voice. I like how she speaks. I like what she has to say. I like her style, or I don't, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, vet them out.
Select, right? Well, and I think that piece about the voice and connecting is important, especially right now when we're not able really to connect with people in person. People, when they're making a decision about healthcare provider, like to sort of get a sense of the vibe, the connection, and so video allows us to do that, right? Or like just having photos or videos, it allows them to get a sense of whether they feel like they can connect with us or not.
I agree. And I think the days of the white coat, super sterile, professional, hyper professional doctor is over. Like, human beings are in trouble right now, and we're trying to take care of each other, and it's all one thing, right? And we need to connect. That's what people want. They want to connect. They want to know that you can help solve their problems. They don't care how you do it. They don't care about your fancy list of procedures that you offer and all this stuff. They care that you can offer them a transformation, or that you can address their pain points. And all marketing is, and I say this all the time because marketing is seen as this like 4-letter word by health professionals, like it's evil. It's not. And it's in no way manipulative. How are they supposed to know how awesome you are if you don't tell them, right? If you don't get good at telling them. And for me, it's like, here's what I offer. Here's my superpower. Here's my patients' pain points and what the sad stories they're telling themselves are. And marketing is just the bridge. Like, it's just that connection where they know that, oh, wow, this person gets me. I am understanding through her stories and through her posts and through her content that she understands what I'm struggling with and she can help me. That's it. Like, you just have to let them know how to find you and what you can do for them to help solve their problems.
I'm wondering if you can comment on certain social media platforms that you think are more important than others, because I know some people get really caught up on there's so many, like, where do I focus my attention? Do you have any recommendations with that?
Yeah, really quickly, Facebook, basically, it's nice to have a professional page that has some semblance of following that you're posting to somewhat regularly, but it's not being seen unless you're paying for ads. So don't get too worried about Facebook professional page. You just want them, again, to be able to pop in there and say, oh, she's here, she's real. He or she's real. I am liking Instagram. LinkedIn is another one that I have never actually doubled down on, but if you're into more of a professional world, it depends on where your avatar is, right? It depends on where your ideal patient lies. But I feel like Instagram is pretty fun and user-friendly, and there still seems to be some level of respect there that we're losing over on Facebook, where people just want to fight all the time. But there are software programs that allow you to post and schedule posts, and then boom, they go out to all the different platforms at once. And so there's ways around this. The thing when practitioners come to me and say, should I hire somebody to do my social media right now? And I'm like, what's your long game?
Right.
Because this is all the long game, right? This isn't just through COVID-19. This is like forever. But what's the long game? And the long game is to get them on that email list, warm them up, get them to know, like, and trust you, and then monetize them and turn them into paying patients. That's the ultimate journey that you're taking them on. That's all a marketing funnel really is. So it's nothing like abstract. It's kind of like dating. You got to give them a few touch points before they agree to go any further with you. And you need to be appealing and attractive to them and be speaking their language.
Yeah. Well, and I think to your earlier point, it's important just as much for people to realize who's not a fit for them, right? Like, this is a process of weeding out so that we're not wasting time taking phone calls or whatever from people who clearly aren't a fit. So when you have a presence online, it allows people to kind of, screen themselves out or in, so to speak.
Absolutely. Yeah. I agree 100%. There's so many times patients have been really excited about me for whatever reason because they were referred in, and then they started watching my content, and I am me. I have tattoos. I throw the F-bomb around sometimes. And they were like, oh, this is not my style. I'm like, okay, that's great. There are plenty of others who are, and, love and light, and that is fine, but that just saved us all a lot of grief.
Absolutely. How about Any specific mistakes that you see practitioners either in general or that you're working with, things that people are doing right now that you're like, that's a mistake, stop doing that?
Yeah, it's a great question. That's a really great question, and I have a good answer. One is too many of them are playing it safe. They're playing really safe. They're basically just parroting each other and trying to stay in the safe space. People want to know that you stand for something.
Yeah.
I think that's really how you connect to other humans, is that you step up and you lead from the front and you stand for something. And whether we like it or not, we're all leaders in our practice.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you haven't been good at it, you need to get good at it now, because the leaders are going to be the ones who retain the patients. Number two is they spend too much time trying to grow a social media presence, not understanding that the only purpose of social media is to drive people onto your list.
Yeah.
That's what it's there for. It's not there just to grow for your ego. And so they'll make tons of great posts, but they'll never have a call to action. They'll never get the patient to do anything. Call the clinic, join my email list, grab my free thing, follow me here, go read this blog post, tag 2 friends. You know, you have to have a call to action where you get them to engage. That's how you grow, and that's how you keep people. Generally need to be told what to do. And I mean no disrespect by that, right, but they need to know what the next best step is. Yeah. And then the third thing I would say is writing too complexly. They make their posts sound super, super, super smart, and they're writing to their peers. Yeah. They're creating content for their peers in order to sound hyper intelligent, and your peers are not your patients. They're not the people giving you money. You need to speak the language of your people. So
absolutely. Great. And I think the big mistake too that we covered earlier is just thinking that this is going to go away, things are going to go back to normal, and you don't need to be doing anything, right?
Yeah, I don't think we're going to see February 2020 again. Right. Not for a long, long time. And no, I'm not trying to be doomsday here, but I think we have a very new situation on our hands, and this is going to be a big part of the game.
Yeah. So you're getting out in front of this by, providing this kind of information to as many people as you can reach. And I know that you have an online event coming up where you're going to delve into all of this more. Tell us about that.
Yeah. So I just decided, what is the most helpful way I could get to people? And what I created is and I'm in the process of creating it. It's called the Pandemic Proof Your Practice Summit. Mm-hmm. It's going to be 6 days long. You're going to be getting emails into your inbox of rapid fire interviews with experts. Most of them are practitioners themselves who are literally in the trenches doing this in real time. And then several of them are people who have gained big traction online and who are experts in that field and know how to do this and are really solid at marketing, or really solid with online presence. But all of them have their hands in patient care, or have at some point. So they get how this works. They're not just marketers who don't understand healthcare. It's really about innovation and pivoting and resiliency. Mm-hmm. And so the event's 6 days long, really short videos, so they're easy to digest and take action on. And so far the content's been amazing. Right. So that's going to happen in June. I don't have exact dates yet, but the link is going to be pandemicproofsummit.com, mm-hmm. and that'll get you in.
Awesome. And we'll have all the details along with this video, so people, y'all can just click on it and get right to the page so that you can take advantage of this, because really this is information that everybody needs, regardless of what kind of practice they're in, who they're working with, virtual, brick and mortar. Everybody needs this info right now. So I love that you're providing it.
Yeah, and I'm so grateful to Microbiome Labs for sponsoring it. Karan is a friend, and he's always been super supportive of me and my podcast and everything I do. So when I asked him if he wanted to be a part of it, he was like, yeah, let's do it. Because for him, it's critical that the practitioners in your group are thriving as well. So
that's right. Well, we're thrilled to partner on it with you. Looking forward to it being super successful. Thank you so much for taking the time to share all this with us today. Really awesome information.
Yeah, I'm grateful to be here. Thank you so much.
All right, everybody, take care. We'll see you next time.